Hi, my name is John.
And my name is Lloyd.
And we're the hosts of The Pint,
a pop culture podcast.
Lloyd, if you had to tell any of the people out there that might be listening to The Pint for the first time about anything unsavory or disconcerting we might do on the show, what would you warn them about?
Well, sometimes we drop spoilers, and sometimes we swear like
motherfucking sailors. Fuck yeah, we do.
When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
They have murder boners for this kid.
It's already over budget, Mike.
Yeah. I put the Instagram of me watching the DVD the other night, and he's like, burn it when you're done.
This is a really bad IMDb summary.
Okay.
Yes, Dante's Peak is worse than Volcano.
Shut up.
Dante's Peak is worse.
You don't need to start fights here, John. Shut up.
It's dumb.
No.
All right, I get excited.
We're back, motherfuckers. This is our podcast now. I'm Mike Butler.
And I'm Mike Field.
And you're listening to the Forgotten Cinema's takeover of The Pint. This episode, we're highlighting a film that, for a variety of reasons, was forgotten by audiences. Whether it be because a more popular movie was released at the same time, or the film simply didn't catch on with an audience in its initial run. We'll be joined by the Pint's own John Amenta and Lloyd Green, and all of us will discuss what we love about the movie, or maybe don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it. If you enjoyed this episode, you can find more Forgotten Cinema on all podcast platforms.
I like this place. It's ours now. It's ours.
You can have it.
Welcome to the show, guys. How you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm doing pretty good myself.
Doing well.
Yeah.
Good to have you guys back live.
Oh, yes,
Good to be back
absolutely.
live, yeah.
Well, actually, yeah. Seeing you in person.
Yeah.
No more screen.
Not over. Yeah.
No more screen right now. That's awesome.
Mike, what are we doing today?
We are doing the 1992 film Toys.
Oh, you know what else? Wait, you know what else I forgot?
Facts?
I forget. No, I did that.
Oh, the
I
summary?
forgot to get the synopsis.
Nice.
So, do a quick edit there when we, Okay. All right, here we go. A high-tech toy factory falls into the hands of an army general who turns the models into killing machines. The deceased owner's children know what's afoot, and although apparently powerless, have to find a way of bringing down the nightmarish empire that is being constructed under their noses. So, I guess kind of...
Yeah, essentially.
May I make a comment here?
Of course, you are a guest.
I listen to you guys show. You always read that, and half the time it's right on, and half the time it's not.
Yeah.
Why don't you just alter it a little before you read it?
Because I like it when they're
You
wrong.
just like to read the bullshit.
We
Okay.
used to write our own, and it was
Yeah.
such a pain, and then it got more fun just commenting about how bad the ones we find are.
Usually,
I get it.
Sometimes Butler would just try to remember it. Like you would just be like, "Oh, it's about," and then
Sometimes I would try to riff
Yeah.
on it, yeah.
No, I like when they're terrible. It's fantastic. I love when they're really, really bad.
Some of them are like one or two lines.
Yeah.
Some are like a whole freaking paragraph.
Last episode, I think, or 2 episodes ago, we did one that was just a sentence, and feels like, is that it? All right, here we go.
Move along.
So Toys is a runtime of 118 minutes. It's rated PG-13. Production budget of somewhere between 43 and 50 million, depending upon what you're reading. Release date, which didn't surprise me, but obviously it didn't do well. But its release date was the 18th of December, 1992. Where were you guys all at that point?
Senior in high school.
Yeah.
I was I in elementary school yet?
I don't know.
Jesus.
I was in elementary school. I was in kindergarten.
Living with a bunch of roommates in a house, having a job, getting laid.
Living the life. All right.
I was watching Aladdin, not this. Different Robin Williams.
All right. Opening weekend, it did $4.8 million domestic and worldwide are the same because I do not believe it had international release, and that was $23.2 million. So big time flop. Big flop. And we'll probably get into why. Production company was Baltimore Pictures, and it was distributed by 20th Century Fox. Now, the 18th of December 1992, it went up against in a wide release Forever Young and Leap of Faith. Forever Young, I think I saw in the theaters, and I think I saw it at the Old Orange, the first one.
Never saw it.
Really? Yeah.
That's a good movie.
Yeah. Limited release of Used People. Also, so now we're coming up against the Christmas season. So you had that 23rd, which is the Wednesday before Christmas, because obviously Christmas comes on a Friday. So the 23rd, you had a limited release of Scent of a Woman and Indochine. And then a wide release on Christmas of Hoffa and Trespass, which is the one we did
earlier this year during the Forgotten February.
Exactly. Limited release of Peter's Friends, Chaplin, and Damage. Have you guys seen any of those films?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, you saw. Did you see Hoffa in the theater?
No, not in the theater.
Not in the theater. Yeah.
Never saw
Me
Hoffa,
neither.
period.
Scent of a Woman, I think I saw in the
I've never
theater.
seen Son of a Woman. I only
Really?
I know two things about Son of a Woman. I know that he plays a blind man, and I know he says "hoo-ah."
Ooh-ah.
Oh,
That's
you-
it.
The ending
That's
of Scent of a Woman is
surprising.
fantastic.
Never saw it.
Philip
Yep.
Seymour Hoffman.
It's on TV, or it was on TV all the time.
Yeah, it just there's some movies that just never catch, and this is one we're talking about right now that I know of, and just never catch my like a desire to see it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that Son of a Woman just I don't know. It just I guess I felt like it's got to be the hoo-ha movie. Like I would assume people that don't know about Forrest Gump just go, "Oh, it's the box of chocolate movie." I don't want to see that. And very well, I might see Son of a Woman and go, "That was great." But sometimes there's just something that like kind of just makes you go, fuck it."
So, do you want to feel old? I mean, this is off topic completely, but I work with somebody who's just 22, 23, and we're talking, and I'm like, and she was talking about how she's all dressed in black. Like, oh, like Johnny Cash. She's like, who? I'm like,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That hurts.
I knew Lloyd would like that.
I asked my newest hire yesterday. I'm like, what year were you born in? He said 2002.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Yeah, he was born after the towers fell. Like his whole world has been post 9/11. Like it's so weird.
We're
Yeah.
old.
All my kids are after the towers, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So mine too.
Actually, my first was 2 days after.
Wow.
wow.
Yep.
So the 11th of December, the week before, you had a wide release of The Muppet Christmas Carol and A Few Good Men, which I love. You've seen A Few Good Men, John,
I've seen
right?
A Few Good Men, and I love Muppet Christmas Carol.
That was going to be my next question. My question was going to be, what about Muppets?
I love it.
This film was directed by Barry Levinson, who won an Oscar for the movie Rain Man. He also was nominated for the movie Bugsy. He did two movies that we have done, Butler. One, Young Sherlock Holmes. Do you remember the other one that no one ever listens to?
Oh, I bet you I know because I listened to your show. You did Sleepers, right?
No, not Sleepers. No, it's never been released.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh, he did Sphere. That's right.
Yeah, it's fair.
oh,
The practice one.
what
The
a
practice
garbage
episode.
movie.
shit.
The episode that Butler came in liking it, and then after the end of the episode,
I
he's like,
remember I used to really like it when I was a kid because I used to like Michael Crichton novels, and then that was the first episode we did in our boss's office because
Yeah.
we thought it'd be quiet enough, but we still messed up the recording, so it still
Yeah.
didn't sound great. But I ended up like slowly going, you know what? Yeah, I hate this.
Good book, not a good movie.
It's a slow destruction of like my childhood.
Agreed.
I always picture Queen Latifah with the jellyfish. I always remember that. It's so beautiful, and then they kill her.
Terrible.
Written by Valerie Curran and Barry Levinson, who were husband and wife, I believe, when they wrote. I don't know if it was when they wrote this, but they were husband and wife at one point. They both have written "And Justice for All," which was nominated for an Oscar. She has written "Unfaithful Years." Levinson has written "Avalon," "Diner," and "And Justice for All," which were all Oscar-nominated screenplays. So. Bravo. Cinematography was Adam Greenberg, who was nominated for an Oscar for Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Ghost, and a movie that we did, Butler, Near Dark.
Yeah.
Two composers. I guess Trevor Horn is listed as co-composer, and then it's just Hans Zimmer. Horn has done Coyote Ugly, and he's also a member of the Buggles, for any of the Buggles fans.
That's right. Yeah, and yes too. At
And
one
yes,
Yep, there you go.
90210.
point. Yeah. 90125.
90125.
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer has won 2 Oscars. He's been nominated for 12. He won 2 Oscars for what movies? Go.
Hans Zimmer. He won 2 Oscars. I'd say probably
Gladiator,
Nope.
The Dark Knight,
Nope.
Inception.
Nope.
Fuck, forget it. I don't know.
Lion King,
1, yes. And it's recent. More
Dune.
recent. Dune Part 1, Butler.
Dune Part 1.
Yeah, Dune
The Saki Pickens.
Dune PT1. Yeah.
You had Stu Leonard, who was an editor on this. He has won an Oscar for Grand Prix. He also was nominated for an Oscar for Rain Man, and he also did Sleepers. And then produced by Mark Johnson and Levinson. Levinson has produced basically most of his movies. He was nominated for an Oscar because Bugsy was nominated for Best Picture. He also produced Kafka and Donnie Brasco. And Johnson won an Oscar for producing Rain Man, was nominated as well for Bugsy, and he is one of the executive producers of the TV show Better Call Saul. So if you got
Great show.
Just ended. I'm way behind, so don't
No,
fucking
I'm not
spoil
going to
it.
spoil it. I saw
I haven't
the
even
ending,
watched it.
though.
I haven't watched an episode.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a dog. That's also Indiana. He's also joining the podcast. Robin Williams in this movie. I don't know if you guys remember that he plays Leslie. He is nominated. He was nominated for 4 Oscars. He won 1. Dare I ask if you guys know?
Good Will Hunting.
Morning, Vane. Nah.
Well, he was nominated for
Vietnam.
Good Morning,
Yeah.
and he won nominated 1 for Good Will Hunting. Butler's looking it up.
Oh, no, it was not.
Oh, what he won for?
Do you know the other 2 that he was nominated for?
I would probably say,
Not Bicentennial Man.
geez, definitely not for what dreams.
Patch
Have Come.
Adams.
No,
Oh fuck no. Oh, maybe Awakenings.
no.
No.
Let's see.
He's a teacher.
Oh, your favorite fucking movie with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, Dead Poet Society.
Yeah, Dead
And
Poets
then-
Society. Never seen it, by the way.
And then The Fisher King.
Fisher King. Never saw that either.
You know what? I've seen maybe like 10, 15 minutes of that total.
Yeah.
And I've never kind of got into it.
Yeah, Terry Gilliam, weird stuff.
Speaking of this movie,
Yeah, my dog will be making apparently a cameo for the whole entire episode.
that's not a problem. That's just background noise. It's good. Michael Gambon as Leland Zevo. He's obviously he took over the Dumbledore role when Richard Harris died for the Harry Potter franchise. He's also in Gosford Park and a movie we did Butler, Layer Cake.
That's right.
Joan Cusack as Anastasia, who was nominated for 2 Oscars, one for In and Out and the other for Working Girl. She's also in Grosse Point Blank. Robin Wright as Gwen. She's in the TV show House of Cards, the more recent movie Land, and Forrest Gump, as you were talking about before, John. LL Cool J as Patrick from Deep Blue Sea, H2, and NCIS Los Angeles. That's a TV show. That has 300 episodes.
Yeah, all of those CBS shows have 300 episodes.
Can I also mention he's from Rollerball?
Do you have to? Do you have to mention Rollerball?
And also, can I mention his hat is like a shark's
I was
fin?
going to say,
Yeah.
That's the best part of Deep You Ate My Bird. Donald O'Connor as Kenneth Zevo from Singing in the Rain and Call Me Madam. Arthur Millett, I think Millett, or Millay?
Melee?
Millay, you think?
I have a question about this
Mallet? I
guy.
don't know.
He plays Owen. He's from Hook and In the Heat of the Night. What's your question?
Here's my question about Arthur Millay, who plays Owen. Is he just Robin Williams in 100 years?
Maybe.
Did anybody else see the
I
physical?
totally got that, yeah.
As I'm watching it, I'm like, is this Robin Williams playing 2 roles?
Before I put my glasses on, it was kind of blurry, and I'm like, is that just old Robin
It
Williams?
could have been Robin Williams doing an Eddie Murphy bit, but hey, it wasn't, so that's even more impressive.
True. Then you have a couple of people in there. I mean, I wouldn't say they're cameos because they do have some lines, but yeah, Jack Warden as old General Zevo.
Did anybody understand his lines?
No.
He
That was the
certainly.
best
He
part
said
of the movie
when
was
he
Jack
goes,
Warden.
"Or."
Yeah.
It sounds like he said "big dick" to at one point.
Oh, he does, because he was talking about, he says something, his son said something about getting fragged or something, and he goes, oh, yeah, big dick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like he's getting boned. He goes, no,
no,
daddy.
no.
Fragged.
Fragged.
Yeah, Debbie Mazur as Nurse Debbie. Jimmy Fox in his feature film debut as, I guess, Baker. He's one of the guards when they bring the security team in.
Yep.
Yeardley Smith as Miss Drum from obviously Butler knows her very well from The Simpsons.
Simpson.
Barry Levinson's son's in this, Sam Levinson. He plays War Room Player. He's also the creator of the TV show Euphoria, which I hear is a great place to work. And then Blake Clark as Hagenstern, basically Adam Sandler films. That's probably why you recognize him.
He's the farmer in the Water Boy. Yeah.
He's the dad in 50 First Dates.
Yep.
Which he's actually pretty good in that role. I like that.
And I don't know the actor's name, but since we're doing 2 episodes tonight, and our next episode is Once Upon a Time in Mexico, little preview. The guard in the room with Jamie Foxx, that actor with the mustache, he is in Once Upon a Time in Mexico as well.
He is,
Yeah.
that's right, yeah.
He's the guy that throws up in the alleyway and goes, every fucking time.
President's assistant, yeah.
Yeah, save that for the other episode, John.
I know.
I did not recognize Robin Wright when I saw her.
Really?
Yeah.
Very young.
I don't know what it is. I must have blinders
Do you
on
know
or
why?
something. I have no idea why.
'Cause she's
Why didn't I
actually
recognize
smiling.
her?
You didn't recognize her. You didn't recognize Robin Wright because you couldn't tell it was her because you had no clue why the fuck she was in this movie.
In this movie, all right. Yeah, that
Paycheck.
makes sense.
Barry Levinson and Robin Williams.
Yeah,
I mean,
but-
you're just going to say yes as long as you
I
didn't
know
read the
you're going to
script.
say yes, but my lord, man, what a wasted fucking character. Like, I couldn't, I get why she was in there. She's the love interest, but why was there a love interest in this thing? Oh, let's get into it.
Tale of Two Robins.
So I know I saw this film. I'll tell you I saw this film, and when we were doing it before we started, I said to Butler, I know I saw this when I was younger, and I didn't like it. And I don't know, I'm kind of interested to go back to it because I'm wondering if I was just too young for it. You know what I mean? Like I didn't understand it. Or I didn't have like a film knowledge of it. Did you guys, you had not seen this, right? Ever?
Never. I remember when it came out, and I remember it always being considered a huge bomb. And like it was one of those like tremendous bombs because at the time Robin Williams like a month earlier. I mean, I know it's a voice role, but he just did Aladdin. Yeah. And then like 8 months later he does Miss Doubtfire, or a year later. So he was like in that period where he was super hot.
Yeah.
And Barry Levinson's, coming off of Rain Man.
Barry Levinson.
Right.
Yeah,
And no matter what, if you look at this movie, it's super memorable in terms of the set design and everything.
Yes.
So like it's, you look at that stuff and you go, wow, this has the makings of being something really cool and interesting. And it just doesn't pan out.
Lloyd, had you seen this before?
I was aware of the movie when it came out.
Yeah.
The image of, the Toys poster with Robin Williams' head face right there. I totally know that, but I don't think I ever saw it. Maybe I saw a bit of it on HBO or something at one point, but no way I saw this movie before.
So I'll start with you because we'll go around the table. What's the first thing that after you watched it, after you hit stop, was the first thing that kind of popped in your head in terms of your thoughts about it?
All right, so I actually kind of enjoyed the setup to everything. All right, and I like the whole toy versus warfare and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, the set designs, the costumes were amazing. At least, well, I would say 30 minutes too long.
Right.
It just totally loses all credibility in the end.
It meanders a bit. In
Yeah,
the movie,
totally.
somewhere in the middle, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, John?
I agree with him. I actually was surprised when it started, like how invested I was in the first 20 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
But then it just doesn't hold the gag up long enough. And then when it switches to a full-on, military versus, it just doesn't work. Not to sound stupid, but it doesn't stay true to itself. Like the Leslie character in the beginning, you're told he can't take over this this company because he's too immature and everything.
Right.
The character we see could have ran that company.
It's not
From
that
the
character.
start. Yeah.
From the start, and then you also get, not to dive into it, but like I said, you get the unnecessary love story. Why is there a sex scene in this movie? Even if it's off camera, why is there a sex scene in this movie? Nobody needed that. And
Jamie Foxx needed it.
for his first role,
Yeah.
first film role. So yeah.
I brought that our knowledge already.
Oh, did you bring that knowledge already? I'm sorry, I missed that part. I'm
No
sorry.
worries, no worries.
Well, when someone says something that good, you got to fucking
That's
hammer
fine,
it in.
man. You say it
gotta
again.
hammer it the fuck in.
Did you know this is his first film, guys?
Jamie Foxx, Butler. Jamie Foxx, first film.
This is his first film.
First film.
I have that note that it was his first,
first film.
Did you guys know?
Did you know that
this was
the
his
other
first
guy
film?
in the room with him? No, fuck it. So yeah, I was surprised at how invested I actually was in it. But again, it just didn't feel like it did anything. And like Lloyd said, half hour too long.
Yeah.
He might be a little bit off. 40 minutes maybe. Like it just doesn't work in the end at all. It's memorable for the sets, the design, and that's really it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, what about you?
Well, I had never seen this movie.
Right.
You didn't ask me, but I did. I've never seen this
Oh, he did ask you. That happened right around the time he said that was Jamie Foxx's first movie too.
movie. Right. I have the same opinion they did. When I turned off the movie, my first thought was, I'm glad I watched this movie because it is at least unique
Yeah.
and different. It's I probably will never watch a movie kind of like it again. A, because it's a huge bomb. But yeah, it is way too long. I think maybe not 40 minutes, but maybe a half hour. I don't think you need that big battle at the end. And I think it also switches directing styles. There's cuts and there's
Super
camera
cuts.
Yeah,
movements
right.
and there's slow motion and terrible editing decisions that make no sense. And again, the character of Leslie, they should have set it up a different way because he's not a flake from the beginning. He's at the meetings, taking notes, asking questions, looking at the designs. This guy is a good boss from the start.
From the first time I ever saw anything about this movie, like just like poster and knowing, I knew it was about a toy company, the guy dies and a military guy takes over. And I knew that Robin Williams played the son. I knew the setup. I always assumed that this movie was going to start and he was going to be a man-child the whole time.
Yeah, that's what you set him up at the beginning.
And he's not
You know
remotely
Leslie.
at all.
He likes toys, he likes playing around, but
Right.
yeah, he's serious about his job. He's taking notes, attending the meetings. So I think it's too long. I think the end spoils it. I also agree there shouldn't be a sex scene. And
There was one in Eternals. Why can't there be one here?
Never saw that either.
No, hey, you're okay.
Never going to.
Don't worry about it.
I think the message is right. I think the design and the style and the look is fantastic. I just think that it didn't know what it wanted to do with its second and third acts.
Yeah.
It
So-
definitely had a strong first act.
Well, so where do you think that comes from? Because this movie was
Took
Barry
10 years
Levinson's
to make.
passion project. Yeah, it took 10 years in the making for him to get it made in 10 months to put together in terms of pre-production and then post-production. So what do you guys think is the reason why, there's maybe, like I said, it meanders, you say it's 30 minutes too long, all that stuff. Like why is that?
Not enough studio interference, maybe?
Well,
This might be a
maybe
case
there
where
could be
studio should
too
add
much.
or too much. Maybe there's a 2.5 hour cut of toys that feels way shorter and is a better cut because it makes more sense.
Because you have the two different writers too. I don't know. Maybe someone took over towards the end and
Well, it's the husband-wife team.
yeah.
Well, but also maybe it needed somebody to come in and do a pass or something.
Oh, because maybe they were so in love with the project they could
Yeah,
see
that's
through.
Because you
it,
guys
yeah.
are all talking about how character motivations change and how you were given the character of what is it, Leslie, right? Mm-hmm. That you thought it was going to be one way, and then he's kind of goofy the way like Robin Williams is, but he's still got a good head on
but
his
he's
shoulders.
smart goofy. He's like
yeah.
a silly goofy.
Right.
Smart, silly, but not dumb. He's not immature and he's not unable to take this company over.
Right.
It would have been better if they introduced him in the beginning and he was the way they said he was, and then he works to becoming. In the setup of the movie, that would have made more sense.
He has to grow up.
He has to grow up.
Right,
Like, and Owen says at one point, he's grown incredibly. Like,
Yeah, like there's growth in his character.
2 months ago, he wouldn't know what a spreadsheet was, and now he does.
Right.
But no, it's like right from the beginning, everything you're told is wrong. I think probably what the biggest thing with this movie is I think it got to a point where it became like style over substance. Like they had the script,
Right.
and it was okay. It's an okay, interesting script. But then these, it was some Italian. I can't remember the guy's name.
What are you talking about?
Who did all the sets?
So this Fernando Scarafati and then Linda DeSena, who they were nominated for Best Art Direction and Set Direction.
And they should be.
And then Best Costume Design they were also nominated for Best Costume Design, Albert Wolski.
I feel like that stuff started coming in, and maybe like everybody's eyes just went like this movie's going to look incredible. And maybe people weren't so worried about how like the story.
Maybe they won't pay attention.
Maybe they won't pay attention. I mean, because if you ask me in 5 years, I'm going to remember some of the visuals in this, but like I am not going to remember most of the story of this.
You were not going to remember the water pig or whatever.
Sea swine.
Sea swine.
By the way, as far as the art direction, do you know who they lost out to? 'Cause they were nominated.
It's either Howard's End or Dracula. One
It's
or the other.
Howard's End for art direction, and Dracula they lost to.
That's what Merchant Ivory
costume.
always won all those. Yeah. Always won all those. I didn't know that off the top of my head. I read the notes, so I don't want you to think I know like all that. Oh, Howard's End, Lloyd.
92 Oscars art direction.
The world's greatest Howard's End trivia specialist, Mike Field.
You guys want to talk about Merchant Ivory? All right. Butler, what do you got?
What did you think? You didn't give us
What I
do-
thought?
do you
I know.
also agree?
I will say this just to go off of what John was talking about in terms of not showing any growth. I think the only time that you saw or they tried to show Leslie changing was that he was afraid to talk to his uncle. Like I don't want to. And when Gwen was and then
Right.
but that was like towards the end of the movie where that popped in. So it was a little late for that to happen.
like 2/3 of the way
Right.
through.
And because I was starting to get annoyed because like this has been your home for however whole your entire life, and you so willingly just let these people steamroll everything over you, and without any of that backup. Like you're talking about how he's unable to handle the company. You never show that. We all agree that he seemed like he could.
Yep.
Totally.
It just seemed like in the beginning he like now we're saying that he's afraid, and now we're saying that he just that's the only reason why he won't talk to his uncle and try to find out what's going on. But that's given to us way too late in the movie. So I think that creates when you watch these when a movie when there's little parts of the movie that aren't working or aren't connecting, when little things aren't connecting with the story, I think that's when everything starts snowballing in terms of you start noticing a lot of stuff in the movie. And I think that it's I think I always go back to the script, and I think that one of the things with this film is that I just don't think they knew. They might have had an idea of how it visually was going to look, and they probably had a lot of themes they wanted to put into the movie, but building of the character arcs and all that stuff, I just think that was lacking, and it showed, and then it just made, for me, it just snowballed into I was just getting angry at the movie, just end this, because it was just why is any of this matter? It was really bothering me.
The last 20 minutes are brutal.
Yeah, we were all, I'm sure, angry at the movie at that point.
Yeah.
I didn't Now, I didn't know that Joan Cusack was a robot. I forgot that.
That was a surprise.
But for the entire movie, she ticked me off because I'm like, is she supposed to be somebody who is simple? Is she supposed to be somebody who is mentally challenged? And is that what we're saying here? I don't understand what her purpose is. And then all of a sudden we find out she's a robot at the end. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if not knowing until the end is a good thing. What do you guys think about that?
Seemed like an afterthought to me.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, because of her behavior, but everybody in this movie is hyper realistic or off,
right,
to an extent. So I don't know. I will say A+ for that music video. I thought that was great. I thought that was great. But
Seymour,
Yolanda and
Paul, or
Yolanda and George maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I wanted to. I was so surprised that this movie captured me in the beginning like it did, because I'm like, wow, I'm gonna like fucking toys. This is gonna fucking get me, and I'm gonna be like, fuck, 30 years later, 35 years later, or whatever it is, 30 years later, I like fucking toys. And
you like fucking toys?
I like
certain ones.
John.
Fleshlight.com. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't work. It just doesn't work. And like I said, the last 20 minutes, it never felt like it was going to end. Never.
Well, what were your favorite imagery in the, like, for me, was the field, anything in the field.
The field was
Field was
amazing.
great, yeah.
Yeah. But what else did you really like?
I really liked some of the rooms, in the factory, in the house, whatever. Like the crossword puzzle room.
Yep.
That was really sweet. And the dining room where it was nothing but their images and then red.
Yep.
Like you couldn't even distinguish between walls and ceiling and floor. It was great. I love that.
Yeah, I like the crossword puzzle room.
Yeah.
when it starts coming in, I thought that was really cool.
And it starts coming in and different, and he even said something like we're being attacked by a crossword puzzle. They're trying to inspect, the peas and the corn and the vomit.
Yeah. Well, it has one of my favorite lines when he's talking about the vomit of the white man. Very impressive.
Yeah. It did have some very good side lines, in the background that weren't part of the story. They were really good.
There was good banter,
Yes.
even when they were trying to judge everything, like the scientists. Yeah, and I think it's like you kind of wanted more of that a little bit. Yeah,
Crap in a can. If you remember that line.
What'd you like, John? In
The bumper cars during the funeral procession, when he when everything stops, he hits the car, the other car hits him. Just the look of everything was, I said the music video I thought was great. That whole idea. They basically did the same thing that they did in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
I mean, the music video is nice, but why didn't they just keep the mirror going?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, there was little bits. LL Cool J's camouflage bit every time when he comes out of the couch was fucking hilarious. And then when he comes out of the wall and she goes, that red is hard to match. Yeah, so I mean, there was a lot of little things here and there. I thought LL Cool J actually was pretty good in an early role. I liked him. I liked his story arc of how he's like his dad, but he's better than his dad. I didn't really like the fact that at the end when what's his name, Leland, right, the general, he attempts to murder everybody, and then at the end it's like everything's cool, we're hanging out again. Why isn't he in jail, or why isn't he's like they shooting?
Yeah,
what they could have done.
They didn't want to get the police. They wanted to handle everything it's a family affair.
Then fucking send him off to Antarctica or something show him in a post by himself, making toys in Antarctica. But instead, they're all in the grandfather's room and playing taps. I don't know. I just felt like that was kind of stupid.
He lost his mind, so he's just completely gone anyway.
Yeah, he did try to kill everybody though.
He did.
Yeah.
What did you like visually?
I really liked the house. I thought the house was really cool.
The pop-up house?
The pop-up house, as the walls came down and everything. I thought that was really neat. And I also really liked the elephant that his father was buried under.
In the field,
1910 to infinity. I really liked that. I liked that it was making the bubbles. I thought that was a nice touch.
Why is it flying at the end?
What
is going on with
really
that end credit sequence?
It's not even flying because it's clearly they don't even edit out the line from the helicopter clearly driving it around with a crane just going.
That's what I like about you, Field. You made it through the end credit sequence. Literally,
I stayed
literally,
the whole way.
They showed the field at the end, and then it went to the old-fashioned 1990s white lettering, and I just went fucking. And then I actually deleted it and emptied my recycling bin. And it's fucking done.
I'm sorry. How did you watch this, John?
Let's actually bring that up real quick.
Right.
Maybe the hardest movie ever in the 5+ years
Up
of
to
the pint.
3 days before we have this podcast, I couldn't find it.
Yeah,
I was grateful for an email that I got.
Gentlemen, welcome to Forgotten Cinema.
Yeah, I was gonna
90s
say,
edition. This happens a lot with 90s movies for us.
I was gonna say if you out there are listening and you want to watch toys, fuck you, because you can't.
You can't watch it.
Well, just give me an email. Shoot me an email.
Shoot Field an email.
Well, it says it's not available in your region when you go to Amazon on Prime.
Oh, on mine it never came up.
Maybe if you got a VPN, maybe there's another country where it's streaming on Amazon right
on
now.
Mine on Amazon, when you type in toys, nothing comes up other than other things.
Oh, really? Because
Yeah.
if I type it in, it says it's just not available in your region.
Oh, mine wouldn't even come up on the screen. Fucking toys.
So because we were talking about what it looked like, I just want to give you this note about influences. So the Italian designer, like we talked about, Ferdinando Scarfiati, spent 1 year designing the film sets. He took over every soundstage at Fox, at 20th Century Fox, in Los Angeles. I'm going to butcher this name, so tell me if I got this wrong. The influence of René Magritte. Is that right?
No.
Okay.
No clue, actually.
Sounds about right.
Okay, so that's where it was their influence of their art for the set design and costume design. The poster distributed to the movies is obviously, when he's in the red bowler hat, is obviously from the Son of Man. The sequence, the Golconda is featured during a sequence where Williams and Cusack's characters perform in the music video sequence, what you guys talked about, rife with surreal imagery. And then they also I'm going to say this, daddyism?
Yeah,
Daddyism.
I read that too.
Daddyism, modernism, and Italian futurism, and notably the work of Fortunato de Pero. So I just wanted to, that's where all those influences came from.
I read the Dadaism thing.
I can
and
definitely see the Dada. Yeah.
I don't know what Dadaism is. Like it's one of those words I see all the time, and I probably should just look it up one of these days. What it like? Is it like it's an art style, right?
Yeah, it's an art style. It's like, I won't even say Art Deco, but it's modern. I don't know. You could look it up in there. Maybe read.
Cubey, is it Cubey? Lots of cubes.
Cubism?
Cubes, maybe. I don't know.
Well, we did a movie, just kind of like in terms of like a movie that was so influenced by modern art was Ruthless People.
Oh yeah,
and the '80s modern art, like their home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only movie I can think of in terms of that we've covered that was so influenced heavily by certain modern art. And so yeah, are you looking up what?
I did look up what Dadaism is.
Good.
Just to show John some examples.
Well,
Picasso
this is a
did some-
podcast, so you have to actually say it.
So it's
not a video podcast?
It's obscure. It's avant-garde kind of stuff. Just making things look a little different than what they'd look in reality,
Okay,
or taking
all right.
reality and shifting it on its head.
little tweaks. And,
Yeah.
okay. I feel better now. Now I know what Dadaism is.
Something that I liked was the actual costume of Leland when he started wearing the color.
Oh, right. The
That was
military
great,
costume
right.
with the pastel, like, camouflage.
Yeah.
Hiding in a Crayola factory, basically.
Yeah. That also brings up this point that I want to talk about is that Leland wasn't far off where video games were going.
No,
I was thinking,
Yeah.
is this the
When he's
first appearance of a drone?
Yeah, he's describing drones.
so.
They can drive it. They've got better hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
They can drop bombs from forever. I'm like, holy shit.
Then
he's
I thought
only
a bit of Ender's
20
Game
years
as well.
off.
Yeah. So I thought everything that he was describing, I'm like, he kind of is onto something here.
Yeah.
even crazier when I was like doing research on this in 1993, so like 6 months after this was made, Genesis and Super NES had a game for this called Toys, and it had like a subtitle.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what fucking kid?
In the attic?
What kid was asking for this? Like for can I get Toys, the video game? And apparently you're Leslie in it, and I think it had something to do maybe with the end. But I'm like, what? They made a game for this? That just killed me. But yeah, you're right. In terms of all the stuff that he does, it's all drone warfare, and you know.
So you come to the right place, John. Toys, let the toy wars begin.
Yeah, that's what it was.
The game is played from an isometric perspective and involves the player as Leslie Zevo attempting to destroy the elephant head security cameras in the factory, cafeteria, and warehouse levels in order to shut down those defenses. Once the player gets to the Manhattan model, the game switches to a side-scrolling flying shoot-'em-up stage where the player must fly all the way to the General's Control Center, shut down the production of the war toys, and save the good name of Zevo Toys.
Wow. So Butler, is this something, you're a video game guy, is this something you've ever played? Would you ever
I never
seek
watched
this
the
out?
movie. I mean, hold on. Let me go on to my
I'd play
retro
that for
games
$1.
then.
I mean, it sounds like it's boring.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good.
I mean, maybe like Russ Lyman from whatever podcast he does. Maybe he would do it.
Toys, let the toy wars begin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to play it now?
I'm just gonna see if it's available.
He already beat it.
It is not available on retro games.
He already beat it. It was 4 minutes long.
What was the game? Hudson Hawk. That game was hard.
Oh yeah, we down for one of our episodes for Hudson Hawk. We played the game on. It was on the computer, right?
Oh, retro
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
hard.
They have a
Really,
bunch of old
really
games on
hard.
there.
It was
Really?
side scrolling. Yeah, it was like this is ridiculous.
Another movie I've never seen.
Really?
Yeah.
You should see that.
Because that also
you can skip that.
that also
Hudson Hawk? No.
that also you remember that also had a terrible reputation at the time.
I know, and that's when I saw that movie, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. You ever see
never
it?
saw it.
Ah, it's a good.
There are some. I will say there are some really funny moments in the movie. It is a terrible movie, but there are some really funny gags.
All right.
Do you guys like the scene when Leland shoots his foot
No, it's stupid. Doesn't make any sense.
when he's trying to get the fly?
He's trying to get that fly, and he's shooting everything in the room. No, the whole scene annoyed me.
Well, that scene is supposed to be a reference to the Confucius quote, "Never use a cannon to kill a fly."
I saw that. It's still stupid.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that whole scene is just to put that theme in there, and that theme is only one time, and that's not throughout the movie. It's only 5 minutes of the film. So
They
that's
could have
like,
revisited that.
well, that's the thing.
Right.
That's when passion projects are sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not good because you just get so focused on I want to say this in the movie, and then it's like
Yeah.
you plop it in there for 5 minutes, and we're just like, what is this?
Yeah, what are you trying to tell us about?
Yeah.
this?
But it's like that. The scene before when he's choking out one of the other generals also again doesn't make any sense. He has so many opportunities to really lose his shit over Leslie being ridiculous in his meetings on purpose, which again shows why Leslie's actually really smart. He's doing it to piss off the general, The general stays calm the whole time. It's only through the end when they're like, well, we're going to need a couple weeks to figure out if we want to do this project. And he goes and tries to straight up murder one of the generals. It's just completely out of character for no reason.
Do you think that they were trying to establish that he was like losing it? So when they show him trying to kill everybody and then make him redeemable at the end, that you're supposed to think that was the start of it? I mean, I'm not saying
Well, I
it's
think
good.
you see the start of it when he goes to the arcade.
Yeah.
And he goes like, oh, I'm going to kill these UN trucks. And people are like, and even like Patrick saying, Dad, that's, you're not supposed to do that. But
It's
again,
just part
that's,
of the progression.
that's subtle. But then they're like, we're in the third act now. Let's crank that up to 11. He's going to murder this general right here.
Yeah.
Well, the sea swine scene too, because he's just
yeah,
like,
let's
I just
let
want to
him
see if it
kill
works, like that
Yeah.
whole thing.
The
Like
sea
that's-
swine is so stupid.
It is. I didn't understand what it was.
He's not a toy.
What
He's
is
half
it?
biological, half toy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess it was a drone, an aquatic drone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was getting.
Yeah.
But it's got, like he says, it's like got some kind of half biological.
Yeah.
It was dumb as shit.
It's the thing. It was.
And it was bigger in the water than it was when it was walking around.
Yeah.
It was the thing from Star Wars in the trash compactor, I think.
Oh shit, wasn't even
Well, if this was 10 years ago that Levinson started this project, and that's what? So we're saying 82? So
Yeah.
yeah.
He's like, look at this thing. Look at what
Dianoga. That's
yeah,
what
the
it's called.
Dianoga. Look at what George Lucas did over here.
I'll tell you though, something bumping your leg underwater that you can't see, that's pretty freaky.
I actually laughed. So that scene I didn't like in terms of like everything we just said. But when I can't remember what Robin Williams says when he's in the water, but he gets like fucking pissed.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that bit. The other thing I thought was interesting in this movie was, to go along with the Leslie stuff, was that the first couple scenes when you're introduced to Leslie, the Robin Williams character, he's not really very Robin Williams-ish.
No, he's
And
very somber.
As the movie goes along, it becomes like, oh, look at me, Robin Williams. It becomes that thing. And I didn't think that was going to happen in this movie, and I kind of wish it didn't. Like, especially when he's like trying to woo Robin Wright Penn and all that stuff. Or Robin Wright, whatever the fuck her name is now.
It was Robin Wright then, and now it's Robin Wright. So
Okay, so back to Robin Penn.
for those who know, she married Sean Penn
for a little while, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like there's a lot of inconsistency with his character as well, in terms of just like, is he playing this character or are we doing a Robin Williams bit? And at certain points, I felt like it was a Robin Williams bit. I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I thought he played it because at the beginning his father has just passed away, so he's kind of a little more withdrawn, and then he kind of opens up as it goes, and that's kind of what Gwen kind of helps him do.
Yeah, come out of his shell.
It's like also the owner of a toy factory has to be more Robin Williams. I want a Robin Williams type Willy Wonka guy. I don't want this somber.
You don't want Johnny Depp, Willy
Yeah.
Wonka?
Nobody wants Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka. Anybody who does just likes Johnny Depp.
I actually like the Robin Williams-ness of the character because it wasn't overdone. He wasn't like totally crazy,
Until he does his speech to the toys.
Yeah.
That was all.
That's got
ad-libbed.
some good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, still.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he must have ad-libbed some of that stuff.
They said
was it all just
the note
written?
that I hold, Levinson just put the camera on, and then
Yeah.
Robin Williams just went.
Yeah, they let him just they let the camera roll and just picked up whatever he did, which I'm sure most directors probably did with
What a
him.
brilliant,
sure.
what a brilliant mind.
My question was going to be: could you see anyone else in this role other than Robin Williams, and would it have been better or worse?
Gene Wilder, 20 years ago. 20
Yeah,
years
well,
before.
yeah,
Because
okay.
he's Willy Wonka.
Steve Martin, maybe.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's not really a role that you're saying that we're all saying. It's not really a role that Williams put his stamp on.
No.
It's John Bernthal.
Fucking Punisher, man. No, I mean, if you, he passed and it's very sad. But if you were to sit down right now and say, let's mention the first 20 Robin Williams movies you can think of, I don't know if Toys is going to be in 20.
If you're saying right now, yeah, Toys is going to be the first one I name because it's like,
Well, right now.
because we're talking.
Right, us, but I mean, most people.
Okay.
Well, people know.
what's his best role then?
Robin Williams?
Yeah. In what movie?
Mork and Mindy.
That's a TV show.
That's not his
I'm
best
always going to
I don't care.
say,
Best role.
I'm always going to say Hook because that's what I grew up on. But his most Robin Williams role, like where he was the best,
role. I got
Good Will Hunting, he's really good in Good Will.
He is. He
Yeah.
won the Academy Award for it.
I got to be honest. If you're going to go with like not looking for the serious Robin Williams, but if you're just going to go with like an all-around great Robin Williams performance where he also does something different, Miss Doubtfire. Mrs. Doubtfire. I mean, like,
Yeah, she's married.
yeah, sorry, not Ms. Doubtfire, like Ms. Pac-Man. But no, I think obviously you get the drag stuff, and he's playing two different characters.
Indiana agrees.
There's of course she does. There's a run by fruiting. it's a good performance. I'd go with that.
You know, there's so many good ones. I'm very partial, as John said, to Dead Poet Society.
I like that Post Society.
Yeah, he's so inspirational in that movie. And he's not the Robin Williams that we all know.
Right.
I really like him in Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good Morning Vietnam.
That's him, and then it's like he can't like
That's like
when you
that's
first
like
meet him.
Robin Williams right there.
You meet him, and then he gets serious because it's obviously he's in a war zone. I really like that film, and I like him in that movie.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I would go with. But they're all good choices. He's good in all of them.
Yeah, he was a great actor. I mean, not just Robin Williamsing it up. And that's kind of one of the things I'm saying about this movie that kind of bothered me was that I think he could have played it a little bit differently. I just felt like he started to really lean on it as the movie went along.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder if people would pick Aladdin.
I mean,
Can you pick that? Even though he's voice acting.
He's still kind
Aladdin
of
came out the same year.
Well, that's why I brought it up. So this was released about a month after the release of Aladdin. Like Butler, you had said that, right?
Yeah.
And obviously,
This is the only thing I knew about toys going into it. Was this thing.
obviously Williams voiced the genie for the first one, and then the third one.
He came
right?
back for the third
Yeah,
one
yeah.
because they had to go to his house and apologize.
Well, because he asked Disney to keep his name out of the marketing for Aladdin and for the genie to not take up more than 25% of the movie's ad space because he wanted toys to be something that did well. He wanted to push toys, and Disney ended up going back on that deal on both counts and resulted in the falling out between Williams and the studio.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but honestly though, he's the best part of Aladdin, so I don't. Disney
Yeah.
should have never promised him that in the first place.
Right. Michael Eisner was like, we told him that we're not going to crush that Toys movie. He's like, we're going to destroy that Toys movie. And then he saw Toys and he's like, guys, don't worry about it. Toys has destroyed itself.
Yeah, I mean, I can see both sides of that argument, but like, I can't blame Disney for.
it's a stupid
Pushing
thing for
it,
Robin to
yeah.
even have asked for him.
Oh, first name basis.
He was like, he's not coming after me.
Oh,
But Butler's like, it's a stupid thing for RW to have asked for.
Like, who goes, listen, man, don't promote your movie. I know I'm why you're watching. I'm the biggest name in your movie, but don't promote me.
Right.
That's silly.
So let me get to a
Critic reviews?
yeah. No, they all hated him.
I'm going to say, you're going to get me.
No. I'm going to see if you guys agree. Kenneth Turn from the Los Angeles Times stated that what made the film that much sadder a failure is that everyone involved must have sincerely felt they were doing the Lord's work, care and concern going hand in hand with an almost total miscalculation of mood. Even Robin Williams, so lively a voice in Aladdin, is an beatific automatic pilot here, preferring to be warm and cuddly when a little of his energy, paradoxically on splendid display in the film's teaser trailer, is desperately called for. The Grinch Who Stole Christmas seems to have stripped the life from this film as well, leaving a pretty shell, expensive but hollow, in its place. It's like, that's harsh.
Wow. I kind of agree with that.
I could comment on the teaser trailer. Have you seen it?
No.
The teaser trailer, which was, I think, released a few months before, like a regular teaser, is him in one of those fields in Leslie's uniform or in one of Leslie's, outfits.
The one that makes the noise?
No, it's a black. It's like a black one.
It's one of his Doctor Who outfits.
with the long tie, and it's him talking about Toys, the movie coming out, but doing all Robin Williams things. Like he says, at one point he's like, it's so funny to think back. He's like, see Toys, or you could have gone to see Toys in the Hood. He does a lot of cringy Robin Williamsy stuff.
Totally
but
cringy.
it's never ever scenes from the movie or anything. It's him in that field talking about Toys and doing a Robin Williams comedy bit for 2 minutes.
So Boys in the Hood was summer of 92, right? Is that
91.
what he's saying? 91. Okay.
91.
Yeah.
So he makes a Boys in the Hood reference and does the little rap thing there. But that's it. It's quick cuts of him making jokes. And then at the end, it's just Toys coming, Christmas to 1992.
Yeah.
So it's I think people who went and saw that are just oh, it's Robin Williams being Robin Williams, but not knowing that it's this weird, because, that's the word to describe this movie, right? It's fucking weird.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could see, it's called Toys, and it's around Christmas time, and it's Robin Williams. So it's got to have some kind of audience.
It's also PG-13 too, so
Yeah.
maybe that kind of. If it was I don't think it could ever be PG because there's so much going on in there that you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Funny
it's-
you should say that. Didn't they cut this into a PG version for the
I don't have that.
VHS note?
Did they cut out the fuck scene that was
They must have cut out
had no right to be in it?
Maybe
Jamie
they were
Foxx.
just going to sleep.
Jamie Foxx was really getting off on that scene.
Yeah.
It was pretty kind of disturbing.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable.
Oscar winner right there. You guys like Robin Williams in this movie? Is that what we're saying? You guys, do we or no? Do we
I like
not
Robin Williams.
I like him. Yeah.
Do you like LL Cool J? You thought he did?
I like
I like LL.
Cool J. Yeah.
Anyone else? Who did somebody you didn't like?
Joan Cusack kind of annoys me sometimes.
I liked her in this movie.
You liked her in
I
this film?
think she played the role well.
She did. Just there's something about her sometimes that just doesn't like connect with me. But I mean, she's not bad in it.
Do you think that that's her, the way she is? Because she does kind of act the same way in movies.
Right.
Do you think that that's how she acts, or do you think that's how she is in real life?
I love her in Grosse Point Blank. I love her in School of Rock. So I don't dislike her. But like I have a hard time, and I think, I don't know, I talked about this on a podcast I was on maybe recently or something. I have a hard time with like aloof characters in movies, and she's super aloof. She's super weird and nonsensical, and it just seems like, I get it, but sometimes it just seems like she's draining the room of like any energy that it seems to have. I always am like that. Like I use, like, you'll know what I'm talking about. I use this as an example when I mention that. Like John Hurt in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. You know, he's just the whole time, he's batshit insane. Yeah. And every time you're dealing with him, it's nonsensical. And I those kind of characters wear me down. I know it might sound weird, but it's just one of my weird movie-going things. It's like when you have like this character that's either catatonic or, you know, supposed to be playing insane in some way, sometimes it just doesn't work for me.
But at least John Hurt came to his, not senses, but he he was not, I don't want to say fixed, but he got unscrambled.
Like with 7 minutes left in the movie.
No. Yeah. Because before you even made the Indiana Jones reference, I was going to actually ask you this, because it seems like Joan Cusack never really, she's always aloof, and there's never really a serious moment.
That's what I'm saying.
But like the character, like Garofalo's character in Reality Bites, she's aloof, but yet there's a serious side to her.
That's a better way to put it. Is just there's no seriousness to, and even like, you know, when she does say things like "Dad, we'd be proud of you" and everything like that.
She does speak truth. She does say like the things that need to be said in the room.
Well, that's what I like about Alsatia. She's got like an inherent truthfulness and a sweetness that's not forced, and it's not fake. She really is just sweet and nice.
Well, it is fake.
She does. I agree.
She's programmed to be that way.
Yeah. I mean, she even tells him at one point, because they're going down the hallway and there's like red lights. And they're like, what is that? Like, well, red means caution or beef if it's bouillon cube.
I like that.
You know, just so innocent.
Yeah. Thanks. You should probably not sing like that again.
So aside from it's really bad, why are we saying it's forgotten? Who picked this? You picked it?
It was on his list, and then I picked it as
okay,
one of our four.
Then let's start with you. Why do you think it's forgotten?
I think that it's got an amazing set design, but I think that there are other things that have this kind of avant-garde style set design. I think Tim Burton sensed that this is around Nightmare Before Christmas and Batman Returns and all that kind of stuff.
Same year as Batman Returns.
Yeah, when the Burton style really came into pop culture. And I feel like although his is a darker take on it, it's still a take on the same genre and art style. And that kind of launches off. So you can't even say that this one is where everyone gets that kind of style from, which kind of steals what makes it special. Mm-hmm. Robin Williams isn't Robin Williams enough. It doesn't have huge names other than that.
Right.
LL Cool J, I guess, is a bigger name, but no one's going to remember him from being in Toys.
He's not LL Cool J enough?
Yeah. And Michael Gambon is like, people just remember him as, you know, Dumbledore.
Well, now they do.
And back then, did anyone know who Gambon was, really?
Well,
other than like big time people?
You don't, but like if you go back to through his film history, you're like, oh wow, he's in that. He's in a ton of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I feel like that hurts it. The fact that there were other things that came out in '92 that you were listing that were big movies.
Sure.
Aladdin was right there. That's going to cover up any Robin Williams as well.
That's the kids. Yeah.
And Robin Williams has so many amazing movies that some of his stinkers, like this Bicentennial Man, they kind of get forgotten because you don't want to remember the bad stuff, Robin Williams, and you want to remember the good.
But I don't blame him for Bicentennial Man, though. That's Chris Columbus.
Never saw it.
Ugh. So, John, why do you think it's forgotten?
I agree with Butler. I think that they made a movie that is light on story and heavy on substance. I think it bombed, horrendously when it came out, and that's never good for a movie.
Of course not.
And but what I mean by that is that helps it being forgotten. So I think I'm a prime example. This movie came out when I was probably 17 years old. I remember it bombing in the theaters, and not that I'm running out to see every Robin Williams movie, but I don't always listen to critics necessarily, but if I have enough friends or people I know say something's bad, I tend to stay away from stuff. I'm one of those guys. Like, why waste my time with that? Now, every once in a while, I'm proven wrong. But this is one that like it kept me away for 30 fucking years.
Peer pressure.
Yeah, peer pressure. And the other thing too is that there's never been anything that's brought this movie back into the cultural zeitgeist. That happens sometimes, right? So once in a while, a movie from that long ago, you know, someone picks up on something. Oh, this person was in this, and oh, you know, and then it kind of gets a second life, or a song from that, or you know, something will, or it ends up on Netflix somehow.
Yeah.
We just talked about you can't find this fucking movie anywhere.
True.
Right? So there's no way to see it. Now, maybe there was a way to see it 10 years ago, but I'm talking like in the streaming. If this thing hits streaming tomorrow, there's a good chance that people would rediscover this movie.
It might hit number one because Robin Williams in it. They're like,
Right.
what?
Oh, Robin Williams. And I guarantee people even of like our age would go, fuck, I never heard of this. Right? Because it died and it got buried. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think all those things. I think everything he said and everything I said, it was almost born to be forgotten. It seems
Forgotten
to be.
for good reason.
Yeah.
That's a new podcast. Lloyd, what do you think?
Yeah, all those reasons.
Yeah.
You know, Goodwill Hunting, Dead Poets,
yeah.
all those great Robin Williams movies. Not to mention the '92 movies that year, like you said, Aladdin, Home Alone 2, Batman Returns, Lethal Weapon 3, A Few Good Men, Wayne's World, Basic Instinct. A lot of good movies that year. It just died on the vine. There is more content, better content to see, and it just died on the vine.
Yeah. I think it's
Style over substance is never going to be memorable.
True. To John, what you said, I don't think it's good enough to, like, if it was on Netflix, I don't think it's good enough to keep people from to rediscover it.
It would get a one watch probably.
Right.
And people might go, oh, that was like really cool looking.
Right.
But I think most people are going to have the same reaction we had. Like, God damn this.
They'll just
2
turn it
hours.
off after, an hour and a half.
They're going to hit that up button and see, 158 or whatever and go, what?
Yeah.
What?
See, now, did you guys ever see Mr. Megorium's Magic Emporium?
No.
So now that movie is weird, but it's PG. So it's for kids. And I think that so when I watch it and I've seen it, I'm okay with it because I'm like, okay, this is for kids. It's a PG film. Maybe there's some stuff I like, there's some stuff I'm not critical of it. If this film, I think, was PG and it was more geared towards children and less towards whatever they were trying to do, I think maybe it would be looked more favorably upon. I don't know. I mean,
it does seem like it doesn't have an audience.
It feels like it's a PG film, but they really just wanted to make it PG-13, and I don't think it works.
And for all the wrong reasons too. I mean, everything PG-13 in this, it's really not language. There's a weird sex scene again that's in there for no reason, and then at the end, when the general could just have the war toys go berserk, they're shooting bullets at people. They're making it a point to show that when they're shooting and it hits the elevator doors, it's fucking bullets.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. You could still make it like a rampage where, everybody's fighting off these other toys and the other toys are fighting the toys and they're blowing up. But there's like heavily bodily harm that could be happening in this thing.
Right.
And that lifts it up to a PG-13. And again, parents might have said in 1992, oh, let's go see that. And then realize, it's a little bit above your age range. Let's not.
Well, here's the thing. If I saw this, which clearly they made like a Nintendo video game after this, they wanted to market toward like my age group from back then. I would have fallen asleep watching this movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This movie is not exciting. There's some toy stuff, but it is absolutely 100% the story makes no sense to a kid. Mm-hmm. I'd be like corporate espionage. Or nowadays I'd be like probably on my iPad or whatever.
Oh, that general has the scissors in his chest. Well, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never comes up.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Butler, where can they find us?
You can find us at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com or ForgottenEntertainment.com, where we are part of the Forgotten Entertainment family. Check out all the other great podcasts and videos we have there. Even these guys have a fantastic podcast called On the QT you can check out on Forgotten Entertainment. And also, as we say at the beginning, all podcast platforms and on the socials. Check us out at the lobby on Facebook and let us know if you guys have ever seen toys. This might be one where it's like, what did you think about it? No, just did you see it? Let's take a vote. Who has seen this movie?
And join us next time. We're going to be taking over again for the pint. We're going to be doing Once Upon a Time in Mexico from 2003. Right. So we're not leaving just yet. So until then, I guess I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Takeover of the Pint.
Oh, yeah.